This is Doug Mumford. We are shooting on location for this edition of Morning Market Call. We are here in front of the Hinckley Alumni Center at the Investors Professional Conference. With me today is Fraser Bullock, perhaps best known as the COO and CFO of the 2002 Salt Lake Winter Olympic Games. Thanks for being with us, Fraser.
Pleasure to be here.
What I wanted to talk to Fraser about today is a little bit of his experience coming out of business school and a little bit of his career path. So, Fraser, you were one of the first BYU MBA to place at Bain Co. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, it was very interesting being the first one. I come to this environment at Bain Co. where they've hired absolutely the top talent from around the country. I think they hired 40 people that year, and they were all from Stanford, Harvard, and these were their scholars, and a guy from BYU. There were actually two of us that year. And I thought, how can I compete? Is my education up to what I see these other guys from these prestigious schools? And I quickly learned that my education was every bit as good, and in fact, in some cases better, because of the very quantitative orientation that we had, the case orientation that we had. And so I was able to climb very quickly in that company, do very, very well. So my message to BYU MBAs is absolutely you can compete at the highest level with some of the best talent out there. And we have fabulous faculty, fabulous training, and fabulous students.
I completely agree, and I'm proud to be a BYU MBA student. My second question, Fraser, is, so people remember the Salt Lake City Olympics. What was that like, and what was it like coming in at the beginning when the finances, there were some questions there, trying to turn that around and make it the success that it was?
Well, Mitt Romney, who I worked with at Bain Co., he recruited me to join him, and he likened it to stepping into an empty elevator shaft because everything had gone wrong. There was a bribery scandal, the budget, there was a $400 million budget deficit. There was no operational plan. Where do you start? And you start with great people and a lot of hard work. And one thing, a quick story, one of the things that people might not know is Mitt's the biggest cheapskate in the world. And so to set the tone of the budget, what he did was, prior to his coming, every time we had a board meeting every month, there were these elaborate lunches and catering and flowers and all these things. Well, Mitt's first board meeting, when he was in charge, it was Domino's Pizza, and it was $1 a slice, because he figured he could buy a pizza for $5 and sell 8 slices and make money. That was a great message to everybody because we watched every penny. We had to. And as a result, we ended up with a $100 million surplus, the most successful Olympic Games financially and probably operationally in history.
That's really interesting. If only our government operated to similar principles. You're now running in a private equity fund, Sorenson Capital. What is the focus of the fund? What are you guys looking at right now?
Well, Sorenson Capital, at this point, we're on our second fund. Our first fund was $250 million, focused in the region of Utah. Fairly broad focus in terms of companies, but EBITDA companies of $5 to $15 million. First fund did extraordinarily well, where we had a gross IRR of over 40%. And we still have some investments in that portfolio. Then we raised our second fund in 2007, $400 million, so we're slightly larger. And what we like doing is we have the opportunity to come into companies and help them grow. We don't take them over, but we have people who have operational experience. We have a group of individuals that we call our performance team, former CEOs, operators, that we'll bring in to help management go to the next level and bring resources and capabilities. So our distinctive competence is finding a company that is doing pretty well today, but has the opportunity to do far better through additional focus and resources, which we're well capable of bringing to them.
Very interesting. It sounds like an exciting place to be. You've had a lot of great experiences from Bain to the Olympics to now Sorenson Capital. Thank you so much for being with us, Fraser.
My pleasure, and I owe it all to my BYU MBA.
For Morning Market Call, I'm Doug Mumford. Join us next time.
Morning Market Call is brought to you by the Marriott School of Management in cooperation with the Brigham Young University Department of Communications. MMC is made possible by generous donations from Larry Tasjan and Gary Williams. This show was produced by Jeff Butler, Janessa Cloward, David Wood, and Doug Mumford, with line producing by Beth Grimmett. For more information, please follow us on Twitter and Facebook.